What's up, Metalheads? This is Duran from Metalholic Magazine and Mojo Radio, and I'm here with bass player extraordinaire Rich Mullins from Karma to Burn. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Not bad. So your album drops on May 27th. That's 7 days from now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that. It's a coincidence.
It's coming. It's a week from today.
Yeah, that's great.
You guys are from West Virginia, but you've been living in L.A. for the past little bit.
Yeah. We live in Laurel Canyon. This is, I guess it's L.A., but it's like the woodsy part of L.A.
How's the shift from West Virginia to L.A. been for you?
I love the weather. I miss West Virginia. West Virginia's great. It's really a great place to live, and mostly because of the people. You don't get the same kind of thing in LA. I'm not real crazy about the people in LA, but
it's a way different world for you.
Yeah, it is. It's two different things, but people are the same pretty much all over the earth except for Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. You guys are on tour right now with Casual, Behold the Monolith, and Iron Fist, and tomorrow is going to be the last day on the American leg of your tour. Mm-hmm. And then you guys heading off to Europe.
Yeah. Then we head to Europe, and we'll do 3 months of shows. Pretty much 2.5 months will be by ourselves, and I think there's a week with Neurosis, which ought to be fun because we love them.
Cool.
They're a pleasant band too. Guys. It's like a lot of party music. The road is good. The road is, it's pretty much you get out of it what you put into it, So if you keep everything calm and focused, you can get a lot done and still have a lot of fun.
All right, cool. So speaking about the new album, this is going to be your second since returning from your hiatus in 2009 with Appalachian Incantation. This new album, is it 5 or V? Just to official. It's
5, but we use the Roman numeral, so I didn't. When we named it, we didn't realize that it could have like you could call it just V, which is like that. When I was a kid, there was a TV miniseries called V about aliens. Borderline comical, yet borderline great. So. So it has, it could be referred to as that too, but we really were going after the number 5. So.
Was it easier to get into the flow of making a new album than it was with the album before that, Appalachian? Because you guys have been a hiatus before that.
Yeah. Actually, this one seemed. Appalachian was pretty easy to make too, because we worked with Scott Reeder, and this one was really, really easy. This was even easier. So. Just because I think we were so in the mode of playing, and we just went straight from, we had everything written down, and we really had a lot of time with it, and to record, we had a lot of time in the studio, so it went even easier.
And you worked with, you said you worked with Scott Reeder from Caius, is it? He's the bass player there.
Yeah, he is the bass player of Caius. He has a really nice studio out in the desert in Van in California, which is really great. And that's actually where I'm at right now, because we're doing 25 songs with him here in 2 days. I can just put down a bunch of ideas. So,
did you find you had an advantage working with another bass player on this new album, or?
Oh, well, actually, on V, we worked with John Lousteau, who's Dave Grohl's engineer, and we worked at Dave Grohl's studio, which was a whole different setup, which was really, that studio is amazing. It's a really giant, state-of-the-art place with just, filled with fantastic people to work with. So, but working with other bass players does make it easier for me. So they usually understand exactly what I want. But to be honest, at Studio 606 with John, I really got my favorite bass tone yet. So.
Was Dave Grohl involved in the recording process himself, or did?
No, they were making their new record. They were finishing that and doing a documentary at the same time we were in the studio. So, though we saw everybody, he wasn't playing drums or anything. So. Well,
John Lousteau's also he's done a lot of the Foo Fighters records, and he's also a drummer. So. I guess,
exactly. Yeah.
I guess Rob could relate to him a lot better.
He did. John's crazy good at what he does. It's amazing. And he's really, as much as I hate to say it, the drums are so important. And he nailed Rob really quick on it. And that was really, that makes things a lot easier. So 'cause drums are usually, difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially snares and kick drums. That's why you gotta respect the AC/DC.
Damn straight. And now, in addition to Scott, you guys worked with another Caius alumni, John Garcia, and
yeah.
I read that you guys were set to record 3 tracks with him.
Yeah, we went up to the desert and laid down some stuff, and it's for his record, Garcia versus Garcia. So I don't know when that's coming out because he's doing Caius Lives right now, so we'll see what happens.
That's cool. And in addition, you guys have 3 tracks on 5 with Daniel Davies of Year Long Disaster.
Yes, yeah, we do.
And he left, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're roommates, so you didn't go too far, but it's just like we wanted to tour instrumentally. That's what we do. That's our main thing as a 3-piece. And he's doing some other stuff that he wanted to, get done. So it's only a couple songs, so it really behooved us all to just be a 3-piece on tour and for him to go do his thing.
How has that impacted your live set? Because you don't have a vocalist, and now you're down to basically an instrumental band again, and you have all these songs with vocals. So how do you pull that off live?
Well, it depends. We have so many songs, it's crazy. So we'll just play the instrumental ones, and if we want, we play a lot of songs that have vocals on them on recordings instrumentally anyhow. So it just depends. We just shorten the arrangements and remove some of the parts and play away. And then there'll be some shows, where he'll come out and do the songs with us. So we usually try to make, don't put any limits on what we do.
And you're still playing with Year Long Disaster, or?
Yeah, right now I just don't have any time. It's just so, Common Burns really got a lot of shows booked. So whenever I get time again, probably at the end of the year, we'll do some stuff.
So the big question, one I've personally been wondering about is you guys are known for using numbers as the titles for your instrumentals, and I think I've kind of got it figured out. You guys have on the second album, it's all 20s mostly.
Yeah.
The third album is 30s. How do you pick a number for a specific song? Because you just randomly kind of go in that sequence? No, they go in order. They're just straight up in the order we write them. That must make your set like a bingo sheet.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
It must be hard to remember.
First time anyone said that, but I've thought that a lot. So I was like, God, it looks like bingo. But no one ever says it to us. But that's exactly right. So
you don't know anything about the project Dan Davies is working on outside of your.
Oh, I've heard it. I know about it because I've written a lot of music for him for it, and I get to hear some of the stuff every once in a while. So it sounds cool.
So I know I've read that you got that you're not a huge fan of record labels, but I know the music industry is moving more towards press enter and you get to download a whole album, as
right.
opposed to buying an actual physical record. But how do you feel the music industry has changed from when you started in '93 as far as viral promotion?
So it's totally different. And it got bloated, and I think over there were so many people involved with it that didn't need to be there involved with it. But to be honest, I talked about this before, really, who's been hurt the most has been the people that were the best for it, which is, the middle-sized indie label, like Touch and Go and AmRep and those type of labels that were around. Those are the bands that are, those are the labels that are just crushed by, piracy and everything, because they just, those are the labels that relied on bands to sell 30,000 CDs. And, at that level, really, it's, I hate to say, but it's more discerning individuals that are listening to it, and so those people are actually the people that are educated enough to really get on it and download torrents. So those are the people most likely just go like, bam, I have their whole collection in 3 minutes. So having those kind of labels gone, I really feel has taken the artists who were talented but were really trying to work, that were working in a specific vein that may not have been considered commercial, but at one point could have crossed over once they had a big enough, once they had grown their groundswell enough. And so what happens is by eliminating those artists, you really are left to, musicians, because, most musicians can't afford to tour now, unless they, are working another job. So you're really eliminating a lot of people from learning how to get better at what they do. And so you have the people that are able to do that, or you have the people that, you know, for whatever, better or worse, or usually independently have more money, or have somebody who has a lot of money behind them, which are not necessarily the people you want out there trying to get better, you know? So there's that whole aspect of it. That's kind of a shame. But on the other hand, you know, it will go back to where there's fewer labels and, you know, probably, even though there's more stuff out there, it's just going to be, it's more difficult for the artists to actually, you know, to keep a longevity in their career, especially if they're starting right now.
Well, nowadays the bands make their money by shows, you know, swag and stuff like that. So
you can say that, and gas is $5 a gallon, and so, you know, like, that gets reflected all the way down, you know, to your shows. And, you know, another way to look at it is, like, America has to adjust to not being a financial superpower, so entertainment, of course, is going to start suffering. You know, it's going to start seeing less and less money to go into. You know, unless, of course, you hit the Chinese market, which is booming. So, got to aim for over there, man. I mean, that's what we've been fortunate and do well in Europe. So, you know, to be honest, we get paid so much more over there, and not only that, because the euro is worth so much more. Mm-hmm. So that helps a lot, you know, to sustain our career. But as far as America goes, it's rougher. So
I know there's a story behind me a couple of years ago with the Download Festival concerning the form of wasps.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really bizarre. Like, we were just playing, and, you know, you could see, it looked like, honest to God, it was one of those things that looked like it had to be like CGI effects over the left-hand side of the crowd. I was like, what is that weird haze? And then you could see the crowd acting really bizarrely and, like, swatting at the air, and then you could see security moving people out. And then as it got closer, I was like, that's a swarm of wasps. And then at that point, you're like, do we tell the audience? Because we can see them and they can't because they're behind them and moving towards us, or do we just continue playing? And, you know, we only had 2 songs left, and we felt better about not saying anything and causing everybody to go crazy, you know, and let the security just kind of handle it. But it was pretty nuts. Like, every time we play, weird stuff happens, so I'm starting to get used to it. But that was the weirdest.
That's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you.
And that's one of them. And as soon as we stopped playing it, they went away. So it just came, like, just when we started, they came out, and right when we finished, they went away. So it was our own personal plague. We inflicted them on the crowd.
Well, the fans.
Yeah, exactly. They just wanted to jam.
So I know you guys have a Sabbath cover on the new record. So that must make them one of your influence. What is your other influences besides Sabbath, obviously?
Well, I mean, at this point, we've been playing for so long that it's hard to say because I feel like we're us. So, but back when we started, we really looked at Trouble and, as weird as it is to say, kind of like Aerosmith, early Aerosmith. And, basically we just wanted to play really groovy rock, like rock that was like, you know, shake your butt rock. Butt rock, basically, is what we were looking at, and like them and then Motorhead, and basically you had what we were going after.
Cool. Thank you, Rich, for
sure, man. Thank you.
Interview for Metalholic, and
cool.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say again, the album drops on May 27th, so make sure you go pick up a copy of that, and see you later, Metalholic.
All right.
Stay metal.
Bye bye.